It began as a night filled with laughter, the kind of laughter you never imagine will be your last. Graduation weekend, June 7, 1992, 18-year-old Stacy McCall and her best friend, 19-year-old Suzie Streeter, had just walked across the stage, caps tossed into the air, futures wide open. They hugged, they smiled for photos, and like every other teenager that night, they promised each other, "See you tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. By sunrise, all three, Suzie, Stacy, and Suzie's mother, Sherrill Levitt, were gone. No screams, no signs of struggle, no trace. Just 3 lives erased between midnight and morning. The house on East Delmer Street stood silent, lights still on, coffee maker ready, TV buzzing with static. It was as if time itself had stopped inside that home and took them with it. That morning, Springfield woke to an ordinary Sunday, but by nightfall, it would become the beginning of one of the most chilling mysteries in American true crime, the story of the Springfield Three. It was supposed to be a perfect night. The girls had gone to several graduation parties before deciding to sleep over at a friend's house. But the house was crowded, loud, too many people. That decision would change everything. Hours later, Stacy's mother, Janice McCall, began to worry. She'd been expecting a call just to say her daughter was safe. By late morning, anxiety turned into dread. What she found was strange, unsettling in the quietest way. The cars were in the driveway. Inside, the women's purses sat neatly on the counter. IDs, cigarettes, keys, even money. Untouched, the beds were made, their makeup still laid out by the bathroom mirror, but no one was home. On the front step, the glass from the porch light was shattered, a tiny, silent clue that something had gone terribly wrong. When police arrived, they found no signs of a struggle, no forced entry, no blood, just the eerie stillness of an interrupted life. Detectives noticed one small, haunting detail: the TV was on, hissing static, as if someone had been watching before they vanished. And there was a message on the answering machine, a strange, muffled voice. Before officers could hear it, someone, possibly a friend or family member, accidentally deleted it. That message may have held the only clue. The investigation was already compromised. Dozens of people had entered the home before police could secure it: relatives, friends, even well-meaning neighbors, moving items, cleaning glass, touching everything. In the process, any trace of the truth was lost. From that moment on, detectives were chasing shadows. Helicopters scanned fields. Volunteers combed through forests and rivers. Hundreds of leads flooded in all dead ends. For weeks, Springfield lived in fear. People triple-locked their doors. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed the women were abducted by someone they knew, someone they trusted enough to let inside. Others whispered about a stranger, a drifter passing through the quiet town. Then came a chilling name: Robert Craig Cox, a convicted kidnapper and suspected murderer who had once lived in Springfield. While in prison, Cox hinted to journalists that he knew what happened to the 3 women and that they were dead and would never be found. But when pressed for details, he smirked and refused to say more. Was he telling the truth, or just feeding on the attention the case still generated? No one knew. Between 2 a.m. and sunrise, 6 unaccounted for hours. That's the window in which everything changed. Did someone follow them home from the party? Did they open the door to a familiar face? One that smiled, then turned dark. Every timeline ends the same way. Suzie, Stacy, and Sherrill are gone, but the evidence just wasn't there. It was as if the night itself swallowed them whole. Over the years, the case would twist and tangle. Anonymous tips, psychic visions, false confessions. Investigators even brought in ground-penetrating radar but found nothing. In the late 2000s, cadaver dogs alerted on the same site again, but still, no remains. Every promising lead collapsed into dust. Even technology, DNA, forensics, digital tools offered no breakthrough. The mystery remained airtight. And in a way, that was the most terrifying part. How could 3 people in a neighborhood, in a home, in the middle of a city just vanish? 30 years later, their families still keep their photos on Montels. Sherrill, kind-hearted, dedicated, always smiling at work. Suzie, lively, brave, quick to laugh. Stacy, gentle, steady, the voice of reason. Their absence hangs over Springfield like a ghost that never leaves. Detectives who once led the case have retired, but the file remains active, hundreds of pages thick, worn with age, still waiting for that one missing piece.
Every few years, a new tip surfaces. A new person claims to know, but nothing ever sticks. The house where it all happened, 1717 East Delmer Street, no longer stands. It was demolished, the ground paved over. But to this day, locals say they still slow down when they pass the empty lot. Too quiet, like the earth itself remembers. The story of the Springfield Three is more than a mystery. It's a scar on the city's heart, a lesson in how evil can hide in plain sight. One night, no answers, someone who's carried that secret for over 30 years, someone who still wakes up at night, hearing echoes of the static from that television, and remembering the night Springfield lost three of its own. For Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall, may your names never fade from memory. May your story remind us that justice, though silent, never stops searching.